Sponsored by St. Rose Integrative Medical Center.
Science writer Arthur C. Clarke once said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Well, according to the Pentagon, something magical has been flying around in our skies for a long time.
A secret study of unidentified flying objects made public last year. Much of the analysis was done right here in southern Nevada. And the main purpose of the study was to figure out how UFOs work.
The I-Team's George Knapp sat down with the man who ran the program at the Pentagon to ask about the physics of flying saucers.
Well, if there's like anything.
You can tell from the voices of the Navy pilots that the encounter with the so-called gimbal UFO back in 2015 was hardly ordinary. For one thing, it wasn't alone.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
The pilots wondered if it might be a drone, but advanced sensors showed the object had no detectable propulsion system, seemed oblivious to the powerful winds, and slowed to a near stop before rotating.
As I said before, if this was a court of law, we are beyond reasonable doubt.
Until last October, Lou Elizondo was the point man in the Pentagon's secret study of unknown aerial objects. ATIP was the acronym for the study, authorized by senators, including Nevada's Harry Reid, with the analysis conducted by a civilian contractor, Bigelow Aerospace of Nevada. The primary goal of the study, Elizondo said, wasn't to guess where these things originated, but rather how they worked.
I think we've come very, very close to understanding the physics of how it works, and that's very exciting. That is for the first time we have a very compelling picture that what we are seeing is absolutely explained by our current understanding of physics and advanced physics and quantum mechanics. But
Elizondo left the Pentagon in large part because he felt the issue wasn't getting the attention it deserved. The military is still collecting and studying UFO data, he says, but the analysis by Bigelow's team ended in 2012. The now famous Tic Tac UFO case from 2004 is an example of how things worked. The case sat in a file at the Pentagon until it was resurrected during the study. An abbreviated video clip was released last year. After seeing weird radar returns for several days, advanced warplanes attached to the USS Nimitz battle group off the coast of San Diego went to take a closer look. F-18 pilot Dave Fravor, commander of the elite Black Aces, wrote in an initial report that the pilots detected a huge object the size of a 747 just under the surface of the ocean. A 40-foot Tic Tac object hovered above it.
It takes off and it goes south. And it takes off like nothing I've ever seen. It literally is 1 minute it's there and the next minute it's like poof and it's gone.
Fravor said he believes the Tic Tac is not of this world, but that he sure would like to fly one. Elizondo says there have been multiple other Tic Tac encounters with the U.S. military, both before and since. Scientists now think that a single technology explains the amazing things these craft can do.
we do believe that now for the first time, perhaps all these observables that we've been seeing, for example, sudden and extreme acceleration, hypersonic velocities, low observability, transmedium travel, and last but not least, positive lift, or anti-gravity, is really a manifestation of a single technology. So it's not 5 exotic technologies we're trying to figure out how it works. It's one. And we think we know that one too.
One of the scientists who helped figure it out is physicist Dr. Hal Puthoff. He wrote the proposal that helped Bigelow land the contract to study UFOs, and in a recent radio interview said he commissioned 38 scientific papers during the study to explore exotic propulsion ideas, including what he calls space-time metric engineering. In essence, the gimbal and tic-tac craft were able to create their own space-time bubbles.
We believe that it has to do with a high amount of energy and the ability to warp space-time, and not by a lot, just a little bit.
Elizondo first went public back in October on a stage with rock star Tom DeLonge, who formed something called To the Stars Academy. Dr. Hal Puthoff is part of the team, along with Steve Justice, the former top engineer at Lockheed's Skunk Works, who says he wants to build something that can do what the gimbal can do.
The question is no longer an if question, it's a when question.
George Knapp, 8 News Now.
Luiz Elizondo confirmed that special materials would likely be needed to manipulate space-time.